Chosen one, you did not stop here by accident. You stopped at exactly the right moment. 1111 is not just a number you keep seeing. It is not coincidence, and it is not your mind playing tricks on you. Every time that number has appeared in front of you, it was a signal, a moment where I was saying, pay attention, something is moving, something is being released. And today, the thing being released is something you have been needing for a very long time. Healing, real healing, not the surface kind that masks what is underneath, the kind that goes all the way down to the root of what has been wrong and addresses it from there. That is what I am sending into your life right now. And I need you to stay with me through everything I am about to say, because the way you receive what I am releasing today matters. What I have kept for the end of this message is the most important part of the healing I am delivering today. Do not leave before you get there. Let me tell you what I see when I look at you right now. Not the version of you that functions and gets through the day, the actual interior of you, the parts that have been hurting in ways you have not been able to fully name, the tiredness that goes deeper than your body, the grief that never got fully processed because life kept moving and you had to move with it, the anxiety that has become such a familiar presence that you have almost stopped noticing it as a visitor and started accepting it as a permanent resident. The wound that opened a long time ago and never fully closed because the conditions for real healing were never quite right. I see all of it, and today I am addressing all of it. I want to speak to your body first, because for some of you, the most pressing thing right now is physical. There is something happening in your body that has been concerning you. Maybe something the doctors have been working on. Maybe something you have been managing on your own because accessing care has not been possible the way it needs to be. Maybe something that has been present for so long that you have started to quietly accept it as just the way things are now. I need you to hear this clearly. Your body was made by me. Every system of it, every cell of it, every process that happens inside of it, moment by moment, without you having to think about it. I know your body in a way that no doctor ever will, because I am the one who built it. And what I build, I can restore.
The healing I am sending today is not a promise for a future moment. It is something being released right now into the physical reality of your body. Some of you are going to feel something shift while you are listening to this, a warmth that moves through a part of you that has been cold or in pain, a loosening in a place that has been tight, a settling of something that has been inflamed. That is not your imagination. That is what healing feels like when it is actually happening, rather than being spoken about in abstract terms. Receive it. Do not dismiss it. Do not question whether you deserve it. Just receive it the way you would receive a gift from someone who loves you, without asking whether you earned it. For some of you, the healing that is most needed right now is not physical. It is in your mind, the thought patterns that have been running on a loop for so long that they feel like reality rather than like thoughts. The voice in your head that speaks about your life and your worth and your future in a language that would devastate you if anyone else spoke to you that way. The anxiety that wakes you up before the day starts and whispers things about what could go wrong before you have even had the chance to see what today actually holds. I made your mind, and what has been happening inside of it in this season is not what I designed it for. The weight of what it has been processing, the fear it has been managing, the doubt it has been wrestling with, none of that is the intended operating condition. I designed your mind to be a place of clarity, of direction, of peace that surpasses the ability of circumstances to disrupt it. That is what I am restoring right now, not tomorrow when the circumstances change. Today, right now, in the middle of whatever the circumstances currently are. The peace I am releasing into your mind is not dependent on anything on the outside resolving first. It comes from inside, from the presence of something in you that is greater than whatever is creating the noise. And that presence is what I am releasing, not as a concept, as a real and felt reality that is going to begin changing the quality of what it feels like to be inside your own head. Some of you have been living in your mind like it is a place under siege, constantly having to manage and defend and fight back against what keeps coming at you from the inside. Today, the siege ends, not because the battles disappear immediately, because something stronger than what has been attacking has arrived and taken up residence. Let that land. Feel it if you can. The quiet that is trying to come is real. Let it come.
Now I want to speak to the healing that needs to happen in your soul, the deepest level, the part of you that is not your body and not your mind, but that is you in the truest sense, the part that carries your history, the part that remembers everything that has ever happened to you and holds it in ways that shape how you see yourself and how you move through the world. There are things in your soul that have been there for a long time, that were put there by things that were done to you, or said to you, or taken from you. Things that formed the way you see yourself before you had the awareness to question whether what was being formed was accurate. Things that made you smaller than you were meant to be. Things that made trust feel dangerous and vulnerability feel like a liability, and hoping feel like more of a risk than it was worth. I am going to those places today, not to force anything open that is not ready, but to begin the process that leads to those places no longer having the power over your life that they currently have. Healing at the soul level is not instantaneous in most cases. It happens in layers. But what I am releasing today is the beginning of a process that is going to change the interior landscape of your life in ways that will eventually make you unrecognizable to the person you have been being in the places where the wounds have had the most control. That is the healing I came to deliver today. Body, mind, soul, all three at the same time, because that is the completeness of what you need. And I do not do partial restorations when a complete one is what is required. I want to tell you something about why 1111 keeps appearing in your life, because I think understanding it changes the way you receive what is happening right now. When that number shows up in front of you, it is not a superstition. It is not a spiritual concept borrowed from somewhere else. It is me. It is a marker I have been using in your life to say, I am here, I am paying attention, this moment matters. Every time you have seen it and felt something shift inside of you, even briefly, even if you could not explain why, that was your spirit recognizing something real. I have been marking moments in your life with that signal for a reason. And the reason is that I have been building something in you across those moments that requires you to pay attention. Every 1111 was a checkpoint, an invitation to stop and notice and receive. And today, the thing being received is not just a moment of acknowledgement. It is healing that was prepared for this specific appointed time.
There is something significant about appointed times. Not in the sense of magic numbers, but in the sense of moments that have been set aside for a specific purpose. Today is one of those moments for your life. What is being released today was not available yesterday in the same way, and will not be available tomorrow with the same urgency. There is a quality to what I do at appointed times that is different from the ordinary movement of grace through a person's life, more concentrated, more specific, more tied to the exact moment in their story where the intervention is most needed. This is that moment in your story, and the healing being released is calibrated to exactly where you are. I want to speak to the ones who have been waiting for healing for a long time, the ones for whom this is not the first message like this they have watched, or the first time they have believed that something was shifting, only to find themselves back in the same place. The ones whose faith has been tested by exactly this pattern of reaching and not quite grasping, and the accumulation of those experiences has made hope feel expensive in a way it did not feel when they first started. I understand that weight, the weariness of someone who has been reaching for a long time, the way it changes how you hold the reaching, how it makes the hands a little less fully open because fully open has been so costly. I am not asking you to pretend that history did not happen. I am asking you to consider that today is different, not because of anything you did to make it different, but because of where you are in the story I am writing for your life. Healing that has been building for a long time sometimes arrives in a single moment, not because nothing was happening before that moment, but because the process reached completion and what was completed arrived all at once. What has been building in you through every reaching moment that felt like nothing came back was actually doing something, deepening the root system, preparing the ground, forming the capacity to hold what was coming without it being disrupted by the same vulnerabilities that would have made it fragile earlier. You have not been watching an empty sky. You have been preparing to receive what was forming behind the clouds.
Today, the clouds are breaking. Let me be specific about what I need from you right now in order for the healing to be fully received. Not as a condition, as information about how what I am releasing works. I need your agreement. Not a performance of agreement, the real thing. The quiet, honest decision in the deepest part of you to accept what is being offered. To stop arguing with the possibility of it, because the arguing has been the primary thing slowing the reception. When you hold what is being given with one hand and push it away with the other because you are not sure you believe it is really happening, the flow is restricted. Open both hands, agree with what I am doing, say yes to the healing, even if yes feels like a risk, because the last several times you said yes, the yes was disappointed. This time is different, not because your yes is different, but because what your yes is agreeing with is already accomplished. The healing was released at 11:11. It is not waiting on your agreement to begin. It is waiting on your agreement to be fully received. That is the difference between partial healing and complete healing. Not the amount I release, the amount you receive. And receiving fully requires all of you to be pointed in the same direction, toward the healing, toward the restoration, toward the wholeness that was designed for your life before the damage was done. I also want to say something about what healing feels like after it is received, because I do not want you to miss it by expecting it to look a certain way. For some of you, it will feel immediate. Something will lift that has been sitting on you. A physical sensation will change. A mental loop that has been running will go quiet. A weight in your chest will lighten in a way that has no natural explanation. If that happens, do not explain it away. That is the healing landing. For others, it will be slower. You will wake up tomorrow and something will be slightly different without being able to immediately identify what. You will notice over the coming days that you are responding to things differently, that things which used to trigger a particular reaction are not triggering it the same way, that the quiet in you is a little more accessible than it was before, that the hope feels a little less dangerous to hold. Those are not random changes in your mood or your circumstances. Those are the effects of what was released today, working through the layers of what needed to be healed.
Both experiences are real. Both are valid. Do not disqualify what is happening because it does not match what you expected it to feel like. What I release completely. What I heal thoroughly. What I restore to something better than what was there before the damage. That is not an overstatement. When I restore something, I do not restore it to its original condition. I restore it to what it was always meant to be. The version without the damage. The version that was designed before anything broke. And in many cases, that version is better than the person has ever experienced because the original design was more whole than what they were living in even before the damage happened. That is what is available to you today. Not just recovery, wholeness, the kind that has your name on it and fits the specific shape of your life and the specific nature of what was broken and the specific purpose that the wholeness is meant to serve going forward. Receive it today, all of it, with both hands and a heart that has decided the risk of fully receiving is worth taking, because what I give in love, and what I give in love does not get taken back. The 1111 you keep seeing is my signature, my way of saying, I am here, I see you, I am moving in your life, and today I moved in the most complete way possible into the places that needed me most. That is what happened today, and the evidence of it is going to follow you into every day that comes after. Share this with someone who has been sick or hurting or carrying something in their mind or body or soul that needs what was released today. Not because sharing earns anything, because some people are one message away from receiving their own healing, and you might be the one who gets it to them.